I know we in court, so cool.
Yeah.
But don't act like we don't know the bitches that see the CEO, think I can get with him, and I'm never doing music again.
So wait.
They make that trade all the time. I'm not talking
All
about
the
that.
time, Joe.
No, I understand. So question, because from what I remember, we can actually look it up. I feel like it's not like her debut album was a dud. You know what I'm saying? So in the way that you're saying that nobody had any expectations that she was going to have another album, I don't think that that's necessarily true.
That girl was
From the
cold,
inside,
though.
Melissa.
That girl was
So
cold.
if you're in the music business,
but I think the other people may have.
if you're in the music business, you got to understand her coming in. We all knew she was a Ryan Leslie creation.
There are some women that really like the controlling guy.
All right, so y'all know we had to see what the Podfather had to say about this Diddy trial. Remember, in my last video, they was reacting to the beginning of the Diddy trial. Now, y'all know we in full swing. Cassie is on the stand saying all type of crazy stuff. Let's see what Joe Budden and the crew had to say about the semen on the nipples. Like the video and subscribe. Let's get it.
So today marks the 5th day of Sean Diddy Combs' trial. Cassie is still on the witness stand. This, I believe, is her 3rd day testifying. Yep. And she's been handed over from the prosecution to the defense. So they've been really just kind of like hammering home certain points. You know, yes, we admit he's an abusive piece of shit. However, the charges are, racketeering transportation to engage in prostitution and sex trafficking. So they're trying to say that one doesn't equal the other.
Because I do think that the feds are going to prove their case. Mm-hmm. Like, let me start with, not only do I think the feds are going to prove their case, but I think that the standard is so low for what they have to prove. Yeah. They may have already proven it. Mm. I want to say that, but I don't think Cassie looked the greatest during Cross. So this comes down to, do you believe that she was being sex trafficked, or do you believe that she was in an abusive, drug-infested, toxic relationship?
The defense asked her, do you feel like at the age of 22 that you were a fully, formed and consenting adult and whatever the case is? And she apparently kind of looked up and said, no. And I think that it's just the side that I'm on. I believe.
See, I call cap on that.
Okay.
Listen, I'm not a legal attorney, so the shit that I'm saying is not. I'm not speaking to what ramifications.
So tell me about
things will have
cap
in court.
What's cap about that?
There's the flip side of that says some of these 22-year-olds know exactly what they're doing and getting themselves into, and they sought that out.
But also, we sat up here a few weeks ago and talked about Drea and Jalen Green, who is 22 years old or something like that, and basically said he is a child, she's the adult in this situation, and she should know better. So we can't have.
Well, I'm not moving the goalpost. Puff
can't have it both ways.
Wait, Puff is all of the things they say he is.
Yes.
My conversation about Cassie is not to negate what he is. Mm-hmm. He is a manipulator, an abuser, and all of those things that we said about Drea are in play here still. Mm-hmm.
And more.
You're dating and much more. Yeah. You're dating a younger girl. You know what you're doing. You know what time it is. If I'm looking from Puff's POV, y'all are saying I sex trafficked my girl.
Who I'm supposed to take care of.
This is my girlfriend. Yo, y'all, and I know that it's easy to paint Puff as the monster. He's done a great job of it himself. Yeah, true. But nobody is that 100% of the time. Part of his manipulation and bullshit is the charm and all of that goes along with. Mm-hmm. So what do you do when Puff's attorney is saying there were times where he was fully functional on the drugs and you kept going?
To be clear,
let me finish. What do you do when the Puff's attorney is saying, hey, there were times when Puff was urging you that we can't freak off. You have a role that you have to get ready for. We can't do this. And you were the person that continued and urged this to go on. Like, it's not just the picture that y'all are painting. And again, it falls on which side you believe. Yeah. Do you believe that he was sex trafficking Cassie? And again, I think that they're gonna get him with the next few. I just don't think they did a great job with Cassie. It is relevant that she was with Ryan Leslie prior to ever meeting and y'all saying she's not on trial, but she kinda is. because her behavior in the past is relevant to what happens with this man's future.
Well,
How so? Just say more. I'm not following. How so?
They painting her as a fast little hussy.
Got it. That's what you're
Yes.
saying.
They painting her as somebody that maybe didn't have shit, didn't have no way of ever having shit.
I see what you're saying.
And saw a powerful man, was attracted to that, left the nigga she was with, deaded him, and went and signed up for all this shit, maybe not knowing what she was getting into. I don't want to sound like, I don't think she knew.
But
And I think that might be the actual
I was gonna
story. I don't think so either. But I think what you just painted might be the story. She
Yeah.
might have been like, "That's a lick." She might have got in there and said, "Fuck Kim."
But he
She might
did
have
this
got
shit
in
to
all
get
that
her,
shit.
right?
He did. He did
the fake-
he did a lot
fake
to
flyer.
the
all of
fake
that to
event
get
or whatever.
her to take her away from him. So it don't necessarily mean that
She slid again with Cuddy. She was with Cuddy and slid again. She slid every time he asked her to slide. Stop with this Cassie innocent shit. I can't.
Me neither,
I
bro.
don't think she's all the way innocent in it. I also think she's a victim and he's going away and horrible things were done. The niggas that was outside for a while don't look at that as artist to CEO. That's why. Because Cassie put her song out and nobody that had 2 cents in the music business thought Cassie's coming out with more music.
She's the fire.
Nobody
She about to
thought
be
that.
up.
And we've seen mad times. Carisha just fucking did it.
Yep.
What are we talking about? I know we in court, so cool.
Yeah.
But don't act like we don't know the bitches that see the CEO, think I can get with him, and I'm never doing music again.
So wait.
They make that trade all the time. I'm not talking
All
about
the
that.
time, Joe.
No, I understand. So, question, because from what I remember, we can actually look it up. I feel like it's not like her debut album was a dud. You know what I'm saying? So in the way that you're saying that nobody had any expectations that she was going to have another album, I don't think that that's necessarily true.
That girl was
From the
cold,
inside,
though.
Melissa.
That girl
if you,
was
okay,
cold.
so from the,
I
if you're in
don't
the
think
music,
I
if
don't
you're in the
think she
music
had that
business,
expectation, but I think the other people may have.
if you're in the music business, you got to understand. Her coming in, we all knew she was a Ryan Leslie creation.
You're talking about everybody having this perception that that album was a one and done and he was never going to do anything else.
No, you was there too. You was outside too.
Hold on one second.
You seen that girl be paraded everywhere and introduced. Introduced as Puff Girl, and if you play with her, he'll hurt you.
Understood.
That was out there from 02 or whatever the fuck they met to whenever.
And I was in the studio,
Nobody
and I was
looked
there.
at-
He said the same. That's it. That
He paraded that girl.
That was his girl.
He did the thing that he does.
I was going to say that just because it was other people's perception that was a one and done, I don't necessarily think that was her perception.
Yeah,
I think
I
that
agree.
she was sitting there with hoping
She thought
against
she was gonna
hope.
make music again.
Yeah,
She definitely thought she was gonna make music
and,
again.
And also she talks about
That's
work.
the naivete.
No, but also
No, wait. I want to hold on, man. Let me
Mark,
just wait.
I was working on her project. It wasn't.
Wait, let's get this
I was in the
1v1
room.
with Mark. Either that's the naivete or that's the cunning savviness of somebody saying, hey, you know what would be a really good way to get my shit rocking? To suck his dick.
No, I hear you. I'm saying what. All I'm saying is you.
And I don't think
can you acknowledge
she
that?
was too young to have that thought.
That's not what I was saying. I was saying that going in, that might have been her motivation. I said I accept that might have been her total motivation for getting into that relationship. I was just we were responding. Mel and I were responding to the idea of everybody knew no more music was coming once they got together, and we were saying no. She probably thought something else was coming, and that's part of why she stayed.
and to pick-
whether that's for good reason or bad reason.
Well, I think that's where I ride with y'all. Same thing make you laugh, make you cry.
I was one of the producers, by the way. I was in the studio working on her project with Puff in the room, our guys, and I can tell you from being in the music business, you can tell when it ain't coming out. They had no direction, no nothing. It was just like, yo, just give us a plot. It was like no direction. Puff will come and go. You knew it. If you're on the inside of the music business, you know when your shit ain't coming out. If you bring writers in town for a week and we don't come away with not one complete song, eventually you start knowing. And that's what I'm saying. But just
how long can you string somebody
why
along
would she
like
keep
that?
doing? Why would, if she knew her music wasn't coming out, why would she continue to play?
Because she got the lifestyle without
What
putting
are
out
you
the music.
talking about, Mark?
I'm
asking
and
because I don't know.
Mark, he put her up in a penthouse. She was living like a superstar. And then guess what? He probably would have been still taking care of her when they broke up, but she left with the
I was asking
trainer.
the music question. I understand the argument you're making about the other thing. I was just saying, why,
if she knows that her music's not coming out, why bother?
why waste your time? And that's
right.
because why still write?
Because everything that comes from this platinum music, I got already. So shit, I'm fake working.
Puff don't want her to make music, so I was just curious to know why she would even play out the studio.
If you're asking me, I think that there was a lot of stoppages between this timeline that they trying to reconfigure as her being this artist that was chasing a career. She was not.
If he was controlling like that said, or like they saying, and she was being watched and she couldn't move. How was she able to leave with the trainer that he hired for her?
Listen, me and my girlfriends were talking about this in the car last night.
I have a theory.
That is the shit I would fucking love to know.
Oh, see, and that's where I can't fuck with them. This is gonna sound horrible.
So don't say it.
But I am gonna say it because women are not a monolith.
We're not.
There
Go ahead.
are some women that really like the controlling guy.
I'm telling you.
There are some women that are attracted to the toxic, ain't shit, I'm in the house controlling, demanding, jealous, I'll fuck your ex up.
Oh, for sure.
I will not deny that for
I
a
know some of
single
them.
second.
Yeah, I know some.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
I've dated some.
Okay, got it.
Absolutely.
I don't know Cassie enough
That's
to
why it didn't
put
work,
that
'cause I
on
wasn't
her
there.
jacket,
Yeah.
but
That is
I know
some
there's a flip side to that. So everything is right when it comes to Puff because he is a piece of shit. Don't confuse what we saying with he's not a piece of shit. But she ain't just Little Miss Red Riding Hood that, oh my God.
I'm with you on that, but again, she's not on trial.
But I think we have to get out of the
Joe,
mode
and
because that's the same shit police say. Well, he was no angel. I don't have to be an angel to not get shot, right? We tend to
You
take.
are if you lying on our whole history. That's the only reason we keep talking about her because she keeps saying, "Yo, this was that," and he's saying, "No, the fuck it was not." That's the only reason we keep talking about it.
And that's the part we gotta unpack more.
Gotta talk about it. They got Cassie saying they're playing audio of Cassie threatening someone who threatened to leak.
She said, "I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah, it's somebody who threatened to leak footage from the freak offs. She said that she threatened to kill them.
Oh wow.
But Mark, not that she's threatening to kill him, Joe. She said, "No, I will have you killed.
I will have
no
you
one will know
yeah.
that I like." It was like she went into it.
Yeah, there'll be no
Jeez.
blood on my hands. I've never done this before, but
It's almost
You
like she's
can get
connected to
killed.
someone who's capable of doing those kinds of things.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
And she was
I don't
ca-
think
and she was
that makes her.
capable-
I think that makes Puff look bad, not
Okay,
her.
so let me.
wait, time out, Mark.
I think it makes them both look bad.
if-
Wait, I'm sorry. I'm not saying it doesn't make her look bad, but,
Yeah, it makes
but
her
I'm
look
saying because she's not on trial, I'm saying I don't think that helps Puff's defense.
I wanna-
think it hurts
and I
his
wanna make a
defense. But for me as a juror, what I would hear in that is Cassie's fucked up, but she was going to leverage the power that she had by being with Puff, which tells me that Puff has the power to control outcomes. It just reinforces the Cuddy blowing up the car shit. It just reinforces that he is somebody who you need to be afraid of.
And she was,
you need to listen to.
it also reinforces that she was very attracted to that, and she used it when she needed it.
No doubt. But again, and if she were on trial, I think you might be able to get her on a RICO trial, maybe. I don't know.
Well, she wouldn't be on trial because
But
she
she
has
ain't gonna
immunity.
be on one, right.
But in a RICO trial, if she didn't have immunity, what Willie D is saying that she should be co-defendants.
I think it's a racketeering trial too, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know women find it attractive when a man comes and gets her? Me and my man was arguing. I went out and he
glad-
showed
I'm
up to the
glad-
club.
I'm glad
They love. It's like my nigga don't play about. It's like it's attractive when she finds it attractive.
Yeah, they're
That-
writing off the women that like that shit. I'm not doing it.
I'm not-
And it's easy to paint Cassie as the victim that was abused, who was trying to put an album out, and
I'm
the big
not-
bad powerful man. Yes, horrible shit happened, but it couldn't. She was down for some of that.
I'm not denying for a single solitary second
But yeah, she's not on trial and she was young in Stockholm.
that level of toxicity did not permeate her and literally become like a template of her own actions.
Mel, I just want to ask you a question because it's really important because you are a beautiful girl and you have a lot of options. Right?
Well,
you do.
used to
No, you do. But my point is
All
this.
right, let's
Remember you so crazy when Martin said you break up with a girl, you broke? She can't wait to leave.
Right.
Nigga, you want to leave this indoor? Like you could.
pool, out the
I went to
pool.
one of their houses. It was just a Hollywood house,
Yeah, one bowl
10,000
and
square foot. That was just the house where Cassie was at. You want to leave all this? And you know, sometimes you got to think. So what I'm asking you, Mel, is a beautiful woman. Does the man's financial status and the lifestyle he provides to you make a difference in how long a woman would endure other pains?
It can 1,000%.
And is that Stockholm's?
It can 1,000% play
You
a
take
role.
that SO.
That's what I'm asking.
It absolutely can.
But is that
For-
Stockholm's?
No, it's not.
No, we're not talking about Stockholm right
I'm
now.
asking the question.
It's not Stockholm,
Okay.
right? We're not what we're discussing right now. Okay, we're talking about the accepting understanding love to be in a really toxic form, to be toxic. So there are some women, yes, that if the situation is like I said, a gilded cage, they're not fucking going anywhere. They're going to, they consider that the lesser of two evils. But there are some women that will say, fuck you, fuck your fucking bowling alley, fuck the fucking helipad, I'm fucking out. There is women that
That's who Mel-
none of that
And I think Cassie did that 10 years into it and finally was over it, and that was it. That's what I really believe happened. And then you get with a man, then you realize there's no more heated toilets. There's no more heated pools. What do we have? And then you realize the nigga that I could get it from, he ain't gonna like me because I left with you. So now you like, what we gonna do? You act like couples on pillow talk and sit in the bed and plan and plot. We're gonna write a book. He don't want it to get out. Hit him for some money because we need money.
Yeah. He shouldn't have did none of this shit. Yo, don't take any of this speech as riding for him.
Exactly.
He shouldn't have did shit. He's dead to rights. But important to examine how you got there.
Ego.
Ego.
And the perception of being untouchable.
Ego makes you think you're untouchable.
All ego.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think it's important to add that Joe saw both sides. Y'all got to remember this is a clip. They talked about this for maybe over an hour, okay? And shout out to Mark Lamont and Melissa Ford because they gave a lot of statistics and facts about victims. But like I said, this is a clip and I'm trying to give y'all what y'all want to hear. But at the end of the day, they talked a lot about Cassie making music. Now I know for me, and I never heard the album that Me and You was on, and I think I looked at Spotify, and Cassie, if I'm not mistaken, she only released one album and it was called Cassie and it had 11 tracks. I could put this on screen, but I'm not, just to kind of get through this video. But I know Me and You was a hit for me. I still hear Me and You played till this day. As a matter of fact, on Spotify, she still has about 10 million streams a month, which is pretty good. It's new artists who don't even get that many streams. So I said this earlier in one of my videos. Look, just because she got money from this Diddy situation, or just because she was getting money from Diddy when they were together, it doesn't mean that she ever lost the love of making music, right? Look at somebody like Sierra. Sierra doesn't have to work. I think she's been successful enough in her own career, even without, the NFL player she married, to the fact that she doesn't have to still put out songs and perform and make these music videos with these dance numbers. I look at Cassie and I say the same thing. She could have money, but it's like Instagram. Everybody likes attention, and also some people feel like music is in their bones. Some people feel like they have to sing. So I don't like that conversation because we really don't know how passionate Cassie was or is about music. Maybe she really wanted to put out music and Diddy was just stopping her at every turn. Now, during the trial, Diddy's lawyers did bring out that, hey, she was brought around a lot of producers. Diddy put her in front of a lot of people. I think they mentioned Lil Wayne. Obviously, she was around Kid Cudi. She was around a whole bunch of artists, and I think they were trying to paint a picture like, okay, well, she had opportunities to make music, she just didn't. But once again, do we know if Diddy was just really trying to have her for the freak offs and saying, I don't want you putting out music? And when we see how jealous Diddy was, maybe he didn't want her to become some big star because maybe if she blew up, she wouldn't want him anymore. And that means no more freak offs, all right? Now, one of the most controversial things that I think a lot of people are going to talk about in this clip is when Joe says some women like the controlling guy. Look, not only is that true, but it's some women out here who are so crazy. And by the way, look, I know a lot of these feelings when you have somebody that likes a controlling guy that can come from past trauma, but it's some women out here that think if there's no abuse going on in a relationship, those people don't love each other. So for example, if my man isn't going crazy over me, if he not yelling and arguing and getting mad at me for every little thing I do, that means he doesn't love me. And to take it further, I do think it's some people out here that feel like if they aren't being hit by their significant other, then it means there isn't any love. So we can scale that down to what Joe was talking about, women liking the controlling guy. And yeah, you know, it can be simple things. Women like a guy who's, you know, not indecisive, somebody who knows what they want. Some women think it's unattractive if a man is talking about, I don't know where I want to eat. They want a man who could be like, you know, take charge. Let's go to the steakhouse tonight. We're going to eat this. We're going to travel here. We're going to do that. We're going to do this. I want a man, you know, that, look, even in Kim and Kanye's relationship, remember, Kanye was dressing Kim for a long time. You know, some people looked at that and they were like, hold on, you got Kanye dressing you. I remember a long time ago on I remember a clip from Meet the Kardashians a long time ago where he went in her closet and he threw out all of her clothes because he wanted her to dress a certain way. Some women like that. And so, yeah, you know, that does go into how much of Diddy's toxicness did Cassie actually like until a certain point. Also, they started talking about, and I don't think I put it in the clip, but they did mention two things. Number one, how much of this testimony by Cassie is out of spite and is revenge. Also, another thing that Joe mentioned, and I felt some way about this, but at the end of the day, I'm going to answer my own question. Cassie was subpoenaed to be on this stand, but Joe said this, and I'm going to say it now. Diddy paid $20 million, and he still has to deal with the same situation that he basically paid to avoid. Now, I get the circumstances. Remember, I said, look, if y'all haven't been watching my day 1 through 5 commentary, go check it out. But one of the days I remember saying, they talked about, well, Cassie just wanted him to read her book. And maybe if he took the book seriously and just had a conversation with her, apologized, maybe gave her a couple of dollars then, he wouldn't be in this situation. And the feds wouldn't have had nothing to kind of pick up on. They do say the feds were investigating the whole time, but maybe before the lawsuit, they didn't have enough to go forward. You see what I'm saying? So I get that part of it, but at the same time, it's like, damn, you would think 20 million would at least buy, you know, somebody's silence. And trust me, that's not to defend Diddy. I'm just thinking about the money, right? I'm just like, dang, if I let go of 20 million, I want to get something for that 20 million. And look, good for Cassie, because after the Intercontinental lawsuit or the demand that she made, she got 10 million from the hotel where the video was shot because, you know, they didn't help. And then she got 20 from Diddy. So she got the 30 that she was looking for. So anybody watching this, make sure y'all lock in to my commentary on Monday. We're going to pick this Diddy trial right back up. Also, let me know what y'all think about this. Like the video and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.